Y'all have got to get on some of this early spring planting or else I'm going to be behind. We got our potatoes planted. We showed you that last week, and today we're going to be planting some more carrots, some beets, and some Pak Choy. If this is your first time on our channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and that bell button so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you are a frequent viewer of our channel, it's always good to have you back. So we've got this plot here in the dream garden, which is full of carrots and beets that we've been working on harvesting. These are some touchstone gold beets right here. They're not quite ready, but they're getting there. These carrots are ready. Some of them may be a week or so away, but we've been pulling them pretty regularly. You can see here we already harvested a row of these purple carrots here. I like to just kind of chop and drop those carrot stems, let them add some organic matter to this soil, which certainly needs it. Here's a row of orange carrots. We've harvested almost the whole row. You can see one of those right there. Here's a row of beets we just harvested this last week, and then a piece of this row has already been harvested. Still got a few more of these Chioggia beets here to pull. So we've been working our way through this plot right here. Ended up with some pretty nice harvests so far, and we love carrots. We eat a lot of them, and our vegetable bag customers love them too. So we go through a lot of carrots around here. Now we'll be harvesting those carrots and beets in the next month or so, but if we want carrots and beets on into mid to late spring, we're going to have to plant some more. So today we're going to be working on this half of a plot here in the dream garden. So one half of it is lacinato kale and tiger collards, and those things are producing well, and they'll keep producing on throughout the spring and into the early summer most times. I did have one of these guys here start to bolt on me, which is unusual, but probably a result of these wild swings in temperature we've been having. You know, get down to 28 degrees and then back up to 70 the next day can cause that bolting. But anyway, these guys here aren't going anywhere, and so we're going to leave these here, and we're going to work on this side of the plot here where we had some broccoli and cauliflower planted in the fall and winter. We've since came in here after we harvested it all. We mowed those plants down and came in here with a tiller after. Well, first we had to pull up our drip tape. You can see that there. We leave it connected at the line here and just pull it to the other side of the garden. And we came in, cultivated this area, kind of chop up some of those stalks and plant debris, and now it's ready to plant. So we're going to be recycling that drip tape, putting it back down, and direct seeding some carrots on double rows, transplanting some beets on double rows, and we've got some rain coming in the next few days, which will be perfect timing to get those carrots planted so we can have some really good germination. That rain will keep that soil moist. And then the other piece we're going to plant today, this little sliver right here, is a part of our big allium plot where we've got onions, shallots, elephant garlic, and leeks. And this little piece right here is where I had some leeks I planted back in early fall, some Mateco leeks. We've already harvested those. We kind of field dressed them out here, so we had a lot of plant debris that we had to get in here and chop up. With the tiller, we got it nice and chopped up, and we still got our drip tape line attached down there, so we're going to put it back down and plant a double row of Pak Choy. So the first thing we need to do is grab our double wheel hoe with the plow set in the furrowing position and start to rebury that drip tape. So we'll make a little furrow, we'll lay our tape back down in it, we'll turn the tape on because it buries much better when it's inflated, and then we'll take our high arch wheel hoe with the plow set in the healing position. We'll cover up that tape and it'll be nice and buried so we can plant those double rows. All right, we got those drip lines reburied, and I can reuse these lines, you know, 4 or 5 times this way and really get the most bang for my buck out of my drip tape. So it's easy to recycle the tape and keep reusing it. So we've got 5 rows here. We're gonna go plant 3 rows of carrots, 2 rows of beet transplants. For carrots, I'm gonna go with these 2 varieties here that did really well for me over in the plot I showed you before, this Viper carrot and this Bolero carrot. So I've got a 1/4 pound each here of pelleted seed. Really been liking these pelleted seeds, even though I usually hand plant my carrots. Just makes it easier. They're easier to hold and easier to get the planting density that I like. We've got our 2 little mini furrows here that our healing plows created, and that's going to be the indicator of where to put these double rows here. I've got my Viper carrot seed pelleted. You can see that there. Nice big seeds, make it easy to plant with. And I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle them fairly liberally in this furrow here and go down both sides, and then we'll just take our rake and cover it up. And now for the beets. So I've got a tray of Merlin beets, which is a really, really sweet, really good variety, and touched on gold beets right here. Now, beets are one of the only, well, beets and chard are one of the few crops that you really can't pull out of these trays easily. You need to poke them from the bottom. Almost everything else you can pull right out of there. These things are a little bit delicate, and sometimes you can tug on them and get them to come out, but sometimes they'll break off. So what I like to do is just take me a pin and I'll just kind of poke underneath here and just give them a little bit of help. It works better if they're dry. These here aren't very dry, so we're gonna poke through these holes and help them out a little bit. And then this here is one of our new bottom trays that people that grow inside or like the bottom water use for these bigger seed starting trays. But I like to use them as transplant transport trays. So they work really good. So I can already have all my transplants kind of ready to grab when I'm out working along the road, and it just makes for some faster planting. If I find any of these that need thinning, I'll thin them to 1 per cell there. And I'll just stack these in here, and it'll make for quick planting when we're working along the row. All right, so I got my beets plucked out of the trays here, and I need to thin that one there. Now let's go out to the garden and get these babies in the ground. I think I'm gonna just try to plant 1 row of beets instead of 2 like I originally planned. Looks like that rain's coming in pretty quick. So I don't know if we'll have time for 2 rows, but we're gonna definitely get 1 row planted here. On these beets, I'm gonna plant a double row as well. And I'm gonna put these about 6 inches apart, something like that. And I'm not gonna pay attention to where the emitters are, because we're planting them so close, it's not really gonna matter. And these beet transplants, although they're pretty tender right now, they actually do really well once you put them in the soil. You rarely ever lose any. They're pretty tough. You can just be careful enough with them to get them in the soil here. And then the last thing we're going to plant today is some of this Fing King Pak Choy here. And I love this stuff. These things grow fast, they hold well, and they do really good from transplants. Look at there, that's just a beautiful transplant right there. Roots aren't wrapping, they're growing downward. And we can plant this stuff here pretty close too. And just like with the beets, since we're planting it so close, I'm not going to really pay attention. There's one I need to thin there. I'm not really going to pay attention to where the emitters are. I'm just going to stack these in here on this double row, about 8 to 12 inches apart. And these things have a nice kind of upright growing habit, and just one of my favorite crops to grow this time of year, because it's productive and it's fast. And it's just, if you've got a little spot, you're waiting on, you know, to plant some warm weather stuff like squash or beans, This here is a great crop you can squeeze in, get a little extra production out of your garden by planting one of these fast Pak Choy crops like this. Whew, well, I got that done right in time. It looks like it's going to rain any minute now, so I was glad to get some of that stuff in the ground. Still got a lot more to get in the ground. We've got some more broccoli, some cauliflower, some of that twister cauliflower, some top bunch collards, rutabagas. Still got a lot more of those early spring crops to get in the ground, but it was nice to get started today. You can see that double row of that Pak Choy right there. That's some pretty stuff right there. That's a lot of groceries in just a little bit of space there. I think I've got room here for one more row or something. So we may throw a row of broccoli or a row of that twister cauliflower, squeeze it in right there on the edge of that garden. Now with the carrots, normally I would turn that drip on and I would let it run all night long to soak that bed. But we've got 2 or 3 days of rain coming and that should do the trick. You certainly want to keep the seed bed wet for carrots for 6 to 7 days. So you got to keep it moist, consistently moist for 6 or 7 days to get really good germination. So after this rain, if it was to dry up, we'll use that drip to keep that seed bed moist until they germinate. If you're interested in any of the varieties that we planted in today's video, I'll put some links below so you can check those out. If you've started spring planting or if you're thinking about spring planting, let me know what you've planted or what you're planning on planting. Just put that in the comments below. If you have any questions about anything we did today, put those in the comments as well and I'll be glad to answer them for you. If you enjoyed this video, give me a big like, give me a big thumbs up and a big share, and also go check out these other videos right here. If you like this one, I think you'll enjoy those as well. We'll see you guys next time.